Hello and welcome back to the GB Fantasy Football channel. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the most, quote, essential premium assets in Sun Dream Team for the upcoming season. Now, I will caveat that by saying I don't believe that any of these assets are essential, but we're going to try and get as many of them into our teams as possible for that first game week deadline. So we need to see who is going to make the cut and who can we leave behind in order to get the best possible team. Now, I'd like to thank you all very much for the support on the channel recently. It's grown very, very quickly, and I'm very grateful for all of you who have hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, please do so. It really is appreciated, and hit the like button as well. Get the content out there, get the community growing. Let's do our bit. Without further ado, let's crack on with the video. Now, as you can see with the graphic on the screen, we've got the players with the most points in the game last season. Now, all the data in today's video will be coming from not only fpl.co.uk, it's a fantastic website. It was used to be known as FF Stuff. Go check them out. There's some fantastic stuff on there. And honestly, using that website throughout the season has really helped, especially last season, and I'm sure it will help again this season. So as you can see, top of the table, top of the charts, Mohamed Salah, 503 points. If you played the game last season, you'll know how much of an incredible asset he was for 3/4 of it at least. When Liverpool went out of the Champions League, he kind of fell off a little bit. The players that did really well towards the back end were the ones that got rid of him, brought in other assets. Personally, I wasn't one. I was always too scared to take him out because we know that whole potential is there. Bruno Fernandes, 443 points, played pretty much every minute, bar 2 or 3 games in the season. Minute monster, competition monster. You just can't knock him. Erling Haaland, 367 points. I think a big injury towards the back end of the season really hampered him. But as we'll see in another graph a little bit later on, his early season form was really quite phenomenal, and not having him at the start of last season would have affected many other players. Other notable players from this list, Isak won 340 points. We then got Cole Palmer at 339, another player who really didn't play many cup competitions throughout the majority of the early part of the season. No Carabao Cup. I remember he played Newcastle away at one stage. Many of us thought he'd play. I think I played my 12th man in hope he would. Didn't. Maresca kept him back. Even the Conference League, he was used sporadically, taking off at half time here and there. So his point total really should be higher this season, especially with the Champions League looming. You've got Embremo, 337. Don't expect him to get near that again this season. If he goes to Manchester United, he won't be on penalties. Set pieces will probably be taken off him. He might get more goals, more assists, maybe. I don't see it though, personally. Morgan Rogers, minute man, incredible player. Had him at the start of last season, pretty much. Played throughout Villa's Champions League campaign. Just really good. 318 points for him. Eze, personal favourite of mine last season, 315 points. Played the early Carabao Cup fixtures, which was really important. Then we've got Daniel Munoz for 305, the highest scoring defender in last year's game, I believe. So there's a lot of people on this list. Saka towards the bottom, big injury, and I believe it was January time away to Palace. So expecting to be further up the charts this season. But that's how they compared last season. This is just a quick one. These are the expected goals and assists for the players, I believe, throughout the season. From what I gather, this is just Premier League based statistics. It's not taken into consideration if they're playing European competitions or cup competitions. I might have got that one wrong, so I do apologise if that is the case. Salah, once again, topping the charts, 30 million. There's a reason he is the most expensive asset in the game this season. Erling Haaland, 28.88 goals and assists combined, heavily based on the goal side of things, less so assists. Cole Palmer at 26, Isak 24.37. Be interesting. There's been a few murmurs with regards to a move to Liverpool. Personally, I think that would actually make him a worse asset. Ekatike might be one to look out for if Liverpool do indeed follow through with that signing. Then got Saka, 23.5 8.50 goals and assists. Very evenly split as well with Saka. I'll be intrigued to see if he does keep the penalties when Gyökeres walks through the door, or he switches and changes them around like we've known he has done in previous seasons. Bruno Fernandes, 20.25 goals and assists. Pretty much even split, 10.25 goals, bang on 10 assists. Fernandes is what we all know Fernandes is. He is just a points monster. Then got Watkins at 18.87. Florian Wirtz, a new one to this list this season, 18.5 expected goals and assists, 10 goals, 8.5 assists. I will be very intrigued to see pre-season where Arne Slot puts him in that Liverpool squad and how he really integrates with the title-winning team from last season. Solanke, 18.13, similar. I'll be intrigued to see how he fits into that Thomas Frank system. Will he be more of a old Ivan Toney mould or Visser from last season? If so, fantastic asset. And the final player on this list is Jared Bowen, one that I am very much considering for my first draft when the deadline approaches. 17.5 goals and assists, split fairly evenly, mainly towards goals. But if you know Bowen on this game, you know full well he's got that Carabao Cup fixture in the second game week. Good assets all around. The stats don't lie on this one. I am starting with Mohamed Salah with regards to the premiums that we just can't ignore, or maybe we should. This is the debate that we're all thinking and mulling over towards that first game week deadline. These statistics over the next few players will show you their points across the first 6 game weeks of last season. Maybe some of them didn't play in the cup games, which is interesting to know. Maybe some of them started really well. But Salah, incredible start. 15, 11, 19, 4, 5 and 10 points across the first 6 game weeks. Ipswich, Brentford, Man United, Forest, Milan and Bournemouth. Some fairly easier fixtures towards the start, but he did really, really well. If you didn't have that front three of Salah, Isak and Haaland, you really fell behind, specifically with Haaland and Salah last season. There was lots of goals, lots of points scored. Personally, I don't feel like many of us will go without Salah in their first draft. I think he's pretty much nailed last season's point tally and the way that he conducted himself, just the threat that he possesses on the pitch. A lot of us really will be putting our budget towards getting Salah in and probably 10 others along the way. Next up, Bruno Fernandes, who very much is an interesting one going into the start of this season. He didn't really pick up form in Sundry team until a few months into it. He still did pick up points here and there, but he wasn't quite the Bruno Fernandes, especially at that price range, that many of you would have hoped for. 6 points, 3 points, 4, 8, 8 and 4. It's not really what you want from a premium asset, especially when Haaland and Salah were doing what they were doing last season. Now, the interesting thing about Bruno this year is it's not a Ten Hag team he's starting the season with. It's obviously a Ruben Amorim team. So where will he play? If he was deployed deeper like he was in some stages last season, I think that is more beneficial for him points-wise. And also with Man United not being in European competitions this season, he will also have a EFL Cup game thrown in there towards the start of the season. Whether or not he'll play that, we don't know. But it's always an interesting factor to put towards Bruno and if he will be in your teams. The Norwegian monster himself. Start of last season, if you didn't have him, you was punished heavily. Chelsea in the first game week, 9 points. Followed up with Ipswich, West Ham, Brentford, Inter Milan and Arsenal. In those fixtures, he scored 24, 26, 18, 3 and 13 points. Incredible total. He was hitting numbers, statistics, goals, left, right and centre. If you didn't have him, you was very much on the back foot throughout the season. Ipswich, he was targeted, of course, many of us captain-wise. Back-to-back hat-tricks, if I'm not mistaken, in those fixtures. Really, really incredible player. Now, with Man City coming back late from the Club World Cup, I feel like the rest of the assets are very much a gamble going into the start of the season. I'm thinking personally for my own team, Aït-Nouri, fantastic attacking potential, but will he start? Pep Roulette, we know, is a fierce thing to back against. But many of us know in that first game, Haaland will be up front. There's a reason why his price is warranted. He's a fantastic asset and he will play no matter what pretty much in that Pep team. In my own draft, currently he is not there and it is one of the big holes that I'm missing. Will I go into the start of next season without Haaland? I'm not sure yet currently. There's a lot to think about. He might be there though. He might end up there. Cole Palmer, of course, makes the list for these premium asset players. Asset players. Started last season, he had Manchester City, Wolves, Palace, Bournemouth, West Ham, and a cup game in the EFL in the third round. This year, of course, he won't be in the second round. Chelsea in the Champions League for the first time in quite a few years. But, like many Chelsea assets, a late end to the season, winning the Club World Cup final against PSG. Will he be there in the first game week of the season? I think he will. There'll be many Chelsea assets that will not. Last season, he had 5 points, 19 points. I remember that game well. I believe Noni Madueke scored a hat-trick in it. Cole Palmer went wild himself. Just a really, really good haul, if you would call it that. Then 8 points, 4 points, 9 points, and then did not play in the cup fixture. So a real up and down start for him at the start of last season. But as the fixtures show, Chelsea have got a really, really decent start when it comes to slightly easier fixtures to target compared to the rest of the big six. I think Cole Palmer for me, is a must in these teams. We're obviously going to see a lot more in pre-season from these players, but if Maresca can get him ticking, like he did in that Club World Cup final, going without Cole Palmer could be a season ender even that early into the season. Munoz, the only defender on this list, he is the highest priced defender in the game at 5.5 million. Last season, points wise, he really did a lot of damage on me personally towards the back end of the year. I feel like I might have even been able to get to second or first if somehow I could have got him in my team at some stage, but it wasn't meant to be. Palace clean sheets, attacking returns, tackling points. It was just the full package throughout the season. I had him at the start. I gambled on him playing in that EFL game against Norwich, and he did. He picked up the clean sheet like I did with Eze. Palace, though, they're in the Conference League as things stand, but they're still in Europe, so there won't be any EFL fixture earlier on in the season. Started last year, 6 points, 2 points, 7 points against Norwich in that game week 2 double game week, 3 points against Chelsea, 2 points against Leicester, and 5 points in the second round of the EFL Cup. Not a fantastic start compared to the asset that many of us and many of you personally would have had towards the back end of last season, but I feel like for 5.5 million, it's a lot to ask for to replicate the form that he showed. Personally, I won't be going with him. I feel like there's a lot more value for money in the defence elsewhere compared to what Munoz can offer. And I actually think if Palace don't start well like they didn't at the start of last season, his price could plummet fairly quickly. To round things up today, there is a certain Bukayo Saka who makes the list for these premium assets. Now, there will be premium assets who haven't made this list, such as Isak. He's the one that springs to mind. There's a lot of unknown around him. Personally, I feel like he will stay at Newcastle. Liverpool will end up probably getting Ekitike. Just takes a lot of money to get Isak out of that Newcastle team at the minute. And he is their star, especially with Champions League football on the horizon as well. But the last player is Bukayo Saka. A big injury curtailed what could have been a fantastic season points wise. Got to the Champions League semi final, but he still hasn't looked fit. If you're an Arsenal fan, you'll know what I mean. Even when he played for England in the summer, he looked not quite the Bukayo Saka that we all have come to know throughout the seasons. At the start of last year, 15 points, 8 points, 11, 8, 3, and 6. That was Wolves, Villa, Brighton, Tottenham, Atalanta, and Manchester City. So similar to this season, Arsenal's fixtures at the start of last year were quite difficult. I remember the Man City away fixture 2-2, last minute equaliser. Villa away, where bar a David Ryan masterful save, I think Arsenal should have lost that game. But Saka, points wise, he did really well. Can we go against that again? He's He will have competition this year in Noni Madueke, but personally, I don't feel like it's much competition at all. If he's fit, he's going to play in that Arsenal team, and that is not what we can say for many of those other attackers. Odegaard, yes. On that left-hand side, as an Arsenal fan, I really don't know. We're being linked with Eze, Rodrigo. Personally, I think like Eze is more obtainable. And of course, Martinelli and Trossard are still in the club. Up front, Gyökeres, there's a here we go coming very soon, no doubt. Havertz, Jesus will come back from injury, so there's a lot of unknown up there. Because I don't think Gyökeres will play every game. I think Havertz will get a lot of game time. So if you're going to go for an Arsenal attacker, I do feel like Saka is the one. Even though he's a bit more budget-wise, I feel like for his potential, still on penalties, maybe. If Gyökeres comes through the door, we can only assume that he is. I feel like Saka is a must in many teams. I know Arsenal have a difficult start, but just the sheer bonus point magnet that Saka is, he picks up tackles, he picks up assists, he picks up, especially with set pieces as well. Arsenal fell off a little bit towards the back end of last season, but there was a time where any corner was basically a penalty, and with Saka on them from one side and Rice on them from the other, I feel like it's too good to turn down personally. That concludes today's video on essential premium assets. Now, as I said at the start, I don't believe any of them are essential. I think many of us will differ through who we feel like is absolutely necessary and those that we can potentially go without, pick up a bit more money to put elsewhere. And that's the joy of the game. Some of us will hit the ones that we really need to get at the start of the season, and some of us will miss out, unfortunately. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Hopefully, personally, for my own gain, I'm really hoping I'm on the right side of those decisions, as I'm sure many of you are as well. So thank you very much for watching. There'll be lots more content out in the coming days. Once again, thank you for the support on the channel. It really, really has meant a lot. We're fully in the swing of things. I've been waiting months for this. I'm sure many of you have as well, especially the comments coming in. So please do leave a comment down below on how your drafts are shaping up, because I know they're constantly changing, constantly evolving. I'm intrigued to hear how it's going. The socials are in the description below. We've got TikTok, Instagram, and X, so do go check them out. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching, and you'll be seeing me in a new video very soon.